Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, we are continuing through our series of video on Certified Life Coach Training Program, inshallah, our Positive Islamic Psychology Center and the Khalifa Education Foundation. You go to our website islamicspsychology.net and then you can register to become a life coach through our free training. Inshallah, our goal is to train over the many years 10,000 life coaches throughout the world, and we have the life coach training program now in two languages. That is in English language and in Bahasa Melayu or Bahasa Indonesia, because our book, this Positive Islamic Psychology, a transcendent model to achieve peace, happiness and success, will be the base of our material for our life coach training program to help transform the ummah to face the challenges of the 21st century. And all you need to do is just register and then go through the series of videos and then do your assignment, and then we can then have all the other material that you can show in terms of practical application of what we taught you in terms of positive Islamic psychology, and apply it in your life or in the small community or in the mosque or in a school or in a kindergarten, wherever. And then inshallah we certify you, and then you can be part of this life coach training program, for Islamic life coach training program, and you also can do as part of your career development. Those of you who want to spend career developing the ummah or developing human resource, doing consultancy work and so on, inshallah you can use our approach not only for Islamic activities but also for corporate activities. For example, positive Islamic psychology is a very powerful tool in transforming the corporate world, and how we're going to address the challenge of the ummah in the 21st century. So that's why you can be part and parcel of this growing group of people with our hope and desire to seek Allah's grace, love, mercy and guidance to serve the ummah the best we can in 21st century. So I have explained to you the challenges that we face in terms of atheism, how to maintain our Islamic religiosity and overcoming the negative perception of Islam in the previous video. Today I'm going to talk the challenges of being able to seek a career and good life while maintaining the Islamic faith. So the 21st century and the 22nd century will be so radically different, because the kind of jobs that you have in the past will not be there anymore. So the kind of education that you have in the past will not give you a career or a job or a source of income. And this is rapidly affecting hundreds of millions, in fact billions of people who all over the world, because now we are in the era of internet, we are in the era of artificial intelligences, we are in the era of robotics, we are in the era of a lot of new technologies that some of them are good, some of them are harmful. All right. For example, if you talk about artificial intelligence, you talk about robotics, I have personal experience. In the 70s, I was an engineer in a semiconductor company, and we have those days one production operator with a microscope bonding the semiconductor. They call it the bonding, gold wire bonding. So they bond the wire, one operator, one microscope, and they do with their hands, with their skills, and so much work. Very tedious work, very refined work, but very tough work. So this production operators, normally they are in third world countries like Malaysia, where our labor is cheap. So we have thousands of girls. In that factory alone, we have more than 5,000 girls doing that kind of work. All right, every day we are producing this semiconductor, the RAM chip or the DRAM chip or the communication chip, whatever chip that we do in the 70s. Very low, capacity, but the science of technology and of semiconductor is going very fast. So in the 80s, they have what they call auto bonding. So automatic bonding, they have this computerized system. It's like a robot. You put the strip in and then it will just bond. So one operator will then operate 3 machines. In the 90s, you have one operator looking after 20 machines of these auto bonders. Now, it is all fully robotics. All right? So you have only one operator who is a technician, who looks after the system, and then everything is automatic. So the productivity has gone through maybe 1,000 times. So previously you need 1,000 workers, now you only need 1 worker. So you can see that many of this manual work will be not there. So what kind of work will be there in the 21st century? It will be based on knowledge and skills, especially in terms of engineering, artificial intelligence, robotics, electric cars, self-driving cars, and so many of this new technology is coming in. So the Ummah, our youth, must be prepared for that. And one of our weaknesses is that we have very little knowledge. That means most of the Muslims in the Muslim countries are in the third world countries, full of turmoil, full of unemployment, full of dissatisfaction with life because there is no job, and the jobs will get less and less and less in the third world country. So we have to find a way to find that balance. One way of finding that balance is, first, naturally we have to improve our knowledge, and then we go into human sciences. I believe the future would be interaction. So subject like psychology, coaching, counseling, mentoring, developing of human resources, developing child care, and so on. Those are the future work. All right. So we will then become advisors, mentor, coach, counselors to help the Ummah facing this challenge. How are they going to actually live in the 21st century with the unsureness of job, with temporary occupation, and a shift in terms of loss of job? For example, in 5 or 10 years' time, you will have no taxi drivers, because all driving work will be done by driverless. It is, all right, using AI, using the technology. Tesla is coming up with those cars that you just call on your handphone, it come to your door and it send you where you want to do without a driver. So you have hundreds of millions of truck drivers, taxi drivers, and so on will be jobless. But what are they going to do? So this is where we have to reflect in terms of the social turmoil that we are going to face in 10, 20, 30 years' time as this technology come into play. But what I'm sure is that more of the human resources type of job will be available. Soft skills in terms of human interaction, as I say, being a coach, being a counselor, being a teacher, being childcare, and things like that. So we must prepare our human resource to face those kind of challenges, and inshallah the other jobs will be in engineering, scientific endeavor, and so on, which inshallah will then give us a good life. But one area that we can come back is what in my book we have chapter 10, we have this concept of permaculture. One of the jobs that we're going to go back later on, you can see large number of people going into farming, but not like a traditional farming. They can do aquaponics, they can do aeroponics, they can do hydroponics, they can do integrated agriculture like permaculture, so that the whole cycle is made in a holistic manner, so that we don't waste and we enrich this earth with a new sense of permaculture, integrated agriculture that will take care of not only our food supply, but give us a satisfaction of nurturing this earth. And then we allow all the creatures of Allah on this earth, the birds, the bees, the bacteria, the insects, to live happily within this framework of a new approach towards sustainable and organic farming, or you want to call it. And that will create a lot of jobs. There'll be a lot of jobs available there, and that also will take care of a lot of our retirees who can go back to the countryside, and not only they are self-sufficient, they are enriching this earth with more trees, more plants, more flowers, more from the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to overcome the evil of climate change and the destruction of the ecosystem that we are facing today. So there are opportunities, there are threats. If you understand the strategy of how you're going to go about with it, then inshallah prepare yourself for this 21st century of turmoil, chaos, and maybe some destruction, but turn it back to Iman, Islam and Ihsan, to coming back to the joy of being a Muslim, having a decent life on this earth. We're not saying that each and every one of you are going to have a private yacht or a private plane, whatever it is, but to have a good, decent life on this earth. Be happy with what we have. Be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we develop a life full of joy, full of happiness, full of fulfillment, full of balance. That is a kind of life that we want to create for the ummah, and we will then be an example to all those so-called materialistic, greedy, consumer-based type of civilization that is bound to be destructive, bound to be chaotic, bound to lose out in the long run. So if we can understand that, we have this deen that can bring us to a beautiful way of life within the framework of Islam, Iman and Ihsan, within the framework of seeking the grace, the compassion and the mercy of Allah, all this being living in gratitude and living our life on this earth as we partake the good of this earth and we partake the good of the hereafter, knowing that we are a sincere servant of Allah, we knowing that we are His Khalifa on this earth, we have strived to make ourselves good, help others to be good and make the world good, inshallah.